All right, let's take a look at the workspace for Science 10 Unit D, the fourth unit, which is Energy Flow and Global Systems. This is the workspace that you'll have in front of you. Again, I'm using a Chromebook, which I assume most of you will be using, so hopefully all the operations are the same. What's going to be different? When you come and you see this video that you're watching right now will be uploaded right here. If you come down here, you're going to find your learning goals for this unit of study. So you can click on that document and take a look at what you're expected to know. Now, this unit of study is actually going to be a little bit different. What I've done is I've created one entire document. It's 17 pages long. It's one document. And inside of this document are all of your learning resources and questions that will help you ensure that you've learned the material. So they are formative in nature, which means you can look at the resource, look at the learning material, answer the questions, and then you can be in contact with your teacher to see if you have the questions right, wrong, what needs to be fixed. So the document can be accessed right here from this link. I already have it open, so I'm going to switch this over. So this is what we're looking at. Before we get into how this works and operates, the first thing I would do is I would come up here and I would make a copy. Make a copy for yourself. That way it's your own. You can add text to this. You can essentially make it your own. And that is the document that you're going to want to be sharing with your teacher, for the teacher can see what you're up to, and we can work out problems, questions, so on and so forth. Now, one thing I would say here is please make sure that you look at the information that's been given to you. There's text, there's videos. You need to answer each and every question. I think that I would use a different color font just for things kind of pop out, and we'll go from there. And now the assessments we'll talk about in a bit. I've already loaded the assessments to the workspace. It's kind of on you as to how you want to do this. Anyway, so here's what's going to happen. What I've done is I've broken it down into sections. So if you look right here, you have section 1, radiation, greenhouse effect. It tells you what pages to read. Answer these questions. You're going to come down here. Here's section 2, energy transfer. This time I've given you a video. You watch the video, you can answer the questions. And that essentially is how this is going to roll. You're going to see, obviously, with your own document, like if you came down here to section 4 and you were underneath A, you might write a whole heck of a lot. So of course the spacing here is going to change, and over time your copy might look different than someone else's, but that's okay because you might write different length. You might write, some person writes 3 sentences, some person writes 8. So of course this is going to look different, and that's why I want you each to have your own copy. Now, most of the answers can be provided right in this document. I wanted to draw your attention as I go down here. It's towards the end. There is a section, it's called specific heat capacity. And the next one is called the heat of fusion and vaporization. Now, these are calculation problems. They're very much like Unit A chemistry. You have to use a formula. You have to calculate an amount. Now, between you and me, typing in mathematical formulas is not easy on a Chromebook. If you want my advice, what I would probably do is if I was going to do, I'm on specific heat capacity, I'm right here, I would take out a separate piece of paper and I would answer these questions. So I would just take a piece of loose leaf, go specific heat capacity, question A, do all your work right there. When you have all your work right there, then of course you can compare it to the answer key that I'll provide for you. So that would probably be the one part I'd have to do somewhere else. If you go down, of course, right here, section 11, that also has calculations. I would do that on a separate piece of paper for you can show all of your work properly. And the one last part is there is a graph that you have to create. And of course, I would do that on a separate piece of paper. Other than that, this is a pretty self-contained document. You get to look at the resources, answer right there, check. It's really nice, really tidy, and it should be fairly easy for you. And the best part is that instead of listening to me, you get to look at different YouTube videos that should really break down, some good animations and really show you what's going on. I'm going to switch back to the other document here. So I should point out one quick thing. I thought it was really, really important for those. Remember those chemistry calculations we were just talking about? Specific heat capacity, heat of fusion, heat of vaporization. What I did is I made up a separate video right here that shows you how those calculations are performed. That was the one thing I thought was lacking in when I made up this document right here with all the videos. It tells you the why, but it doesn't really tell you how. So I made up this video right here where I go through the questions myself. So please have that available to you, and it will help you ensure that you're doing those calculations properly. As for the assessment piece, there are 4 quizzes and a unit examination. Now, what you can see here is I put in the quizzes, I've put exactly what is covered in each quiz. So you have 2 choices. You can, one of the easy ways would be to do all of this work. Then boom, do all the quizzes. Fine. Another thing you could do is, let's say if you read what quiz 1 says, it talks about weather, climate, biosphere, climate change. If you finish that section of this document, go ahead and do this. Okay? Answer the questions. And then you share that with your teacher or hand it in, and it will be marked. So you kind of have multiple ways of doing this. You're going to have to work out with your teacher how this quiz is completed, because he or she may want it shared with them. They may want you to print it out and then physically hand it in. That's going to be between you and your teacher. But nonetheless, these are the assessments. They are there. It's up to you how you do them. You can do them at the very end, or you can do them section by section by section. Please do the unit exam at the very end after you've done everything that is in this unit.